back here. No, I shouldn't say that. It's cold outside. So it's not really good to be here when it's cold. But anyways, you know, I was really blessed when I come into church and see these guys up front again. You know, a number of years ago, we had those guys and a bunch of other ones and had an awesome, awesome praise team. But it makes you feel good when you come home. You can shut these lights off. It makes you feel good when you come home and you see things are starting to change again. And I want to say this here for the people of the church. You know, I travel the world preaching. I'm getting ready to start a world tour. I start on the 18th of March. We'll literally be preaching around the world by the end of this year. And I go to so many churches that are just dead. You go back to them a year later, and the carpet's worn out, the chairs are torn. You don't see nothing done in that church. And the people are even dying. They're breathing, but they're dying. And I'm so thankful that I can come back to this church that don't have a lot of people, but it's still moving and still going on. You know, I come back, I see they put up the stainless steel here in the front. I see things changing. And the church looks nice. Everyone knows that I believe if we're serving God, we should have it nice. And it makes me feel good when I come into church and I see it clean and the carpet looks nice, the chairs are in place. So you people are doing something good anyhow. It's looking good. You know, I want to share a little bit here today about the work in Africa. You know, Pastor John's going to be speaking. I don't want to take up any time from him. But I want to give you kind of an update on Africa. But to do an update, my update was kind of bringing in two words that are kind of dirty words in the church. You can't hardly say them in the church. You know what dirty words are. You know, people don't like to say dirty words in the church. And I know some of you are saying, oh no, he's going to start talking about the F word. And I know some of you saying, oh, he just said the F word. I was going to talk about forgiveness, okay? But you know, our minds kind of wonder when we start talking about dirty words in the church. But anyways, I want to talk about the two words that most people don't like to hear in the church today before I talk about Africa. And the number one word, I think you can get away by saying a cuss word before you can say the word tithing. People don't want to hear the word tithing. Seriously, I preach everywhere. And I'm telling you, you can say a cuss word, but don't you dare preach about tithing. You know, and I love Doug, you okay? Doug and me are growing old together. We've known each other a long time, you know. And I got a kick out of him talking about Yellow Pages. Nobody uses Yellow Pages no more. It's Google. Everything's Google. I love Google. How many likes Google? I Google everything, okay? So I Googled about tithing. Do you know less than 5% of Christians tithe? That's bad. And you know, tithing don't get you blessed. You know, and I'm not here to preach, but I got to say this before I tell the story. Tithing don't get you blessed. Tithing gets you open communications with God. Can you imagine that? Open communications with God. It's what you do over and beyond that gets you blessed. The second word that people don't want to grasp a hold of is the word dedication. We have forgot what that word dedication is. So I went to Google. This is from Christians in America. This is from them speaking out in surveys. Less than 15% of Christians feel, now this is not people making a choice for them. This is Christians. Less than 15% of Christians today believe that they're dedicated to Christ. 85% of them said, no, I don't believe I'm really dedicated. Dedication to Christ means a personal relationship. You know, people that have known me for a long time, many of you here have, if you looked into my life over the years, you'll see that I've lost a lot. From family, I've lost a lot of things, but I've gained so much by not quitting. gained so much by not quitting. I'm living the dream. You know, I got to ask now, a lot of you, if you're having a good morning, if I'd say to you, how's your life doing? Most of you would say on a good day, it's great, man, I'm doing really good. But when I look at my life, even though I've lost so much, when I've looked what God has given me, I can't even ask Him for any more. Amen. Imagine getting to that place to where you've been blessed so much you can't ask Him for any more. You know, I've supported Africa. Before I went to Africa, 2 years I've supported Africa, the work there. I've been in Africa for 22 years now, and I've never quit. You know, I can give you an update of over the years. Joel has been to Africa. Ben has been. Ben, when are you guys going back to Africa? What's up with you guys? You guys are young. You don't have nothing holding you back. If you don't do it now, you won't do it later. You need to get back again. But I could go through talking about hours and hours of what's happened in Africa. But you know what? I'm not going to do that today. I want to just tell you a few things that God has did since January 1st, 2018, or 19, up till now. So we're only talking about a month and a half, maybe a little more than a month and a half. From January 1st, our ministry, when you come to this church and you support this church, you are part of this ministry. From January 1st, we gave away 5 lorry loads of food, which a lorry is a large truck that hauls from 8 ton to 12 ton of food. We have gave away 5. We've went into refugee camps. We have went into South Sudan. We have fed people on the verge of starvation. We're getting ready this coming week to load up number 6 truck. So we're talking over 60 ton of food. This little ministry in Central City, Pennsylvania, is given away. And I could sit here and I could tell you that it's because of my dedication. And I'd be lying. It's because of the people that's behind the work here. It's because of the people that work for this ministry that dedicate themselves to this ministry. See, for God's miracles to happen, you need dedicated people. You need people that's willing to give. In our storehouse right now as I speak, I want you to imagine this. My brother George was there last year and built the storehouse. Right now, there's over 140 ton of rice in our storehouse. Now, I don't know what all you know about rice, but that's a lot of rice. 140 ton of rice. This is just from the last few months. We have drilled 3 wells. One of them is for our ministry, but the other 2 wells are giving water. One village, more than 1,200 people that was walking nearly 4 miles to get clean water. That's America. Another one is nearly 1,500 people that was walking the same 3 to 4 miles to get drinking water. We have also repaired 2 wells. We are still feeding over 13,000 meals a day. Can you imagine that? 13,000 meals a day. We are caring for nearly 500 children every day. See, some people would say, well, Sam does all that because he gets a lot of money from a lot of people. That's partially true. But the truth is, I'm always willing to empty my bank account. Evelina has been with us for a number of years. You can go up to her because I don't even write out my own checks anymore. Evelina writes them for me. And ask her, is he really telling you the truth? Does he empty his bank account? I challenge some of you to do that this year. Empty it and watch what God will do. Because he always fills it back up again. You know, the story I want to tell you is a quick story about somebody that dedicated their life. A young man came to work for me about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago at our farm, running our welding shop. This guy is unbelievable. You know, I know how people work. You know, I don't know how much you know of our ministry, but right now we work about 460, 480 people a day. So I know how people are. If they got a time clock, they're headed to that time clock 1 minute before. Sometimes they'll stand there and just watch it to hit 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock and they punch out. But this guy here, and my brother will tell you because my brother fell in love with this guy. I mean, I'm talking about a love for a brother. He fell in love with this guy because he'd never seen anybody so dedicated. This time of year we work till 6 o'clock because we take a long lunch because it's so hot over there. This guy will run that welder up to 6 o'clock. Then he shuts it off. Then he starts to clean up the tools. Other workers are done. Other workers are already down bathing, and he's still putting away tools because he's dedicated. This guy is just amazing. So I told him, see, I believe anyone that knows me, I believe I should have the best. Because I'm giving my Lord and Jesus Christ the best. Are you? See, when we give God the best of what we have, when we're willing to give Him all we got, God will give us the best. So we started building this supermarket. How many see the supermarket we built? My brother George and me and some other guys just put the roof on it. So I told James, I said, James, I love your work. But brother, I want the best doors and windows. He said, out here in the middle of the bush? I said, yeah. Because God is the same here in the middle of the bush as He is in the capital city of Uganda. So I said, I want to bring you to Uganda. I want to show you the best windows and doors I can show you, and I want you to make them. He says, okay. So I told him Monday morning, I want you to get on a bus. We'll meet you in Kampala. Monday morning, he got on a bus. He come out to Kampala. And we showed him, well, first we brought him to my house in Kampala. We have a big guest house. 8-bedroom, 9-bathroom house, beautiful house. We use it as a bed and breakfast also. So anyways, he come to the house and I told him, I said, James, I said, you're upstairs in the corner with the big balcony outside on the second floor. I said, that'd be your room. So I hollered to one of the ladies that work in the house. I said, Ruth, come take James up to his room, show him where his room is. So James comes back downstairs. George was there when this happened. He comes back downstairs in a few minutes, and James is so humble. Comes walking into the living room, the sitting room, and he says, Sam, he says, can you help me a little bit? I said, yeah, what you need, James? He says, I don't know how to use the bathroom. And I said, are you serious? He said, this is the first time I ever been to Kampala. I want you to imagine not knowing how to turn a TV on, not knowing how to flush a toilet. But see, when this man came to work for us, he was so dedicated. And see, God works in mysterious ways, and He watches our dedication. Imagine, 2 years, 2.5 years, this guy was so dedicated, and all of a sudden God brings him to the city. And he's used to sleeping in a mud hut with a mud floor and a grass roof. God brings him to the city, and he's staying for 3 days, 4 days in a beautiful house. He don't even know how to flush the toilet. So I called Ruth. I said, Ruth, take this guy back upstairs. Show him how to use the toilet. She said, what? I said, yeah, he's never been out of the bush. She said, you're kidding me. So she took him upstairs and showed him everything. He comes back downstairs. He starts talking to me and George. And he says, you know, he says, I got a sister that lives here in Kampala. But I haven't seen her for over 3 years. Might even be close to 4 years I haven't seen her. Haven't even talked to her. But I found her phone number. And I'm going to call her. See, this is how God works. See, this is how God works. See, to some of you that might seem something little. But see, God, when we are faithful, when we are honest, when we will give Him our all, He will give us our heart's desire. See, the church don't even know what a heart's desire is anymore because we don't have dedication. We're not dedicated. We're not steadfast. We're not determined to finish. So I told him, I said, well, James, I tell you what. If we get our work done tomorrow morning, I'm going to have one of my drivers take you over to see your sister. He lit up like a candle. Am I right, George? Yeah. He lit up like a candle. And he says, are you serious? So we got all done with our work the next day. And when I called our driver to take him over, I handed him 50,000, not US either, shillings. It's less than $20. And I said, James, I said, I want you to go find your sister today, and I want you to take her out to lunch. And he stood there with a little bit of shaking in his hand, holding that money. And he said, are you serious? So he come back late that evening, and he starts telling us of the blessing that God gave to him. See, none of that happened through Sam or George. That happened through God working through us. And all of a sudden, he starts telling us the story of what happened when he seen his sister. She thought she was dreaming, did she not, George? She thought she was dreaming that her brother came to see her. She started to cry. He was starting to cry. They thought they both was dreaming. I said to you earlier, I'm living the dream. See, everybody can live the dream through dedication. Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. So let's not get tired of doing what is good at just the right time. See, the problem with the church, the problem with us today, we do something for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then we just think it's not going to happen to me, and we stop. So we lose all dedication. If anybody ever heard my story or read my books, for 8 years, God stopped moving in my life. 8 years! But I never quit. I kept fighting. I kept going on. See, a lot of times, people that don't like to work, they're jealous of me because I'm successful. A lot of times people want what I have, but they're not willing to work at it. I never quit. I kept fighting. You guys that's struggling with addictions, don't stop fighting, man. You know I had addictions, but you gotta keep going on. It says here, at the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Don't stop fighting for what's right. You know, I have a video we're going to watch here of a song that was done. I want to warn you now, I don't see no kids in here. Some of you act like children, but that doesn't count. But the video has some graphic pictures in it. I'm done. Pastor John's going to come up as soon as this song is finished. But I want you to watch this video and listen to the words. Most of all, don't stop fighting. You guys in the back there, I know what you're into right now. It's a battle. Don't stop fighting. Watch this.
Is it fair to say that you're a missionary, or are you a mercenary?
A lot of people call me a Christian mercenary, and I will accept it either way.
Time is time when I'm gone. And they don't need the message, and they don't need the call, and they don't need the message from the one you call the sun. Goodbye. So long. On we must fight for freedom now. All exercise your demons. All step outside your reasons now. Only divine reason. Goodbye, so long. How can one read truth in the paper, turn a blind eye, or get to it later? How can you watch the blood that I'm bleeding? Bones turn to dust, now my pain is receding. Goodbye, so long. Fight for freedom now. All exercise your demons. All step outside your reasons now. Only divine reasons.
I preach in America. I go all over the place and I preach. And I see people crying in their seats, weeping in their seats. People promise you this, they promise you that. But what happens to American people is we go home, we turn our light on, we go in, sit down, we turn the TV on, and we forget. I'm hoping that you won't forget after you see this. That's it.